Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the Oswald Cup 2025 group stage. Week 2, ain't no breaks on this train, so many more games happening, so many of these groups still to be decided, including this one. Japan have not long come back from a game, but they're back in action once again today, taking on Singapore, who need a big result here to get out of this group. It could be do or die for them. We'll see what they can bring to the table, and it's lovely to be back on the OWC cast. My name is Doomsday, and we're joined by two lovely people here in the casting booth. We have a TriCast today. First of all, bringing in once again Black Tap. What's going on, mate?
Doing pretty good, quite excited for this match. Definitely seeing what Japan can do, and it is quite a scary situation for Singapore to be in such an important match. But of course, you know, there's one, there's you, Doomsday, there's two, there's me, and there's the third one. Ravale, introduce yourself, my good sir.
Yeah, I'm here to submit my resume to become an OWC caster. So I watched the OWC 2015 Grand Finals tiebreaker Furioso Melodia. So can you all let me in?
Oh well,
that's all we need.
In the door, yeah.
I'll sign you off. Where do we sign on the dotted line? But yeah, on the TriCast we have a lovely Ravale in from the Mania World Cup, very seasoned Mania World Cup caster, and also a fellow featured artist under the name Silis. So we got the FA cast going on here. It's really cool to have you on. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Yeah, of course, and definitely I had to go for a Singapore match as well to commentate on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like I said, they need a result here, Singapore. Japan already have 2 wins in this group, so they're looking pretty good right now. They're not out of the woods yet, because this group has kind of took some twists and turns, lots of close matchups, and it could still potentially end up in a 3-way tie, so Japan still need to perform here. Singapore on 1 win, 1 loss. They do need to get a nice result here, otherwise they could be in trouble in this group.
Yeah, so some background between these. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no worries. Continue.
I'm just gonna talk about the history between these two teams in OWC because prior to today, Japan and Singapore have faced each other twice. There was a 5-1 win to Japan in the round of 32 in the 2020 OWC, but more recently a tiebreaker affair in the round of 32 of 2022 OWC. But that one going in the favor of Singapore, so possibly we could see some revenge on the table.
Could be, I say. It could be the decider between these two. I think the very first match, I recall that. Well, the second match, 2022, was a really good match. It went to tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Singapore won that one though, so you know the more modern history favors them a little bit, just a little bit. A lot of old style names on the Singaporean roster. A lot of players that have played a lot of tournaments and a lot of World Cups in the past. Returning once again, of course, not least of which GS Blanc, who is the proper veteran of this team. But so many of these players massively experienced, and they'll know what it takes to get out of the groups, being such a good early round team for many years. Whereas this Japanese roster, a lot of new faces, a couple of old names to back them up, but the new blood have performed very well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we see on the bottom of our screens as well a hidden 2 ban from Japan and a double time 2 ban from Singapore. So we do see a perma ban from Japan. They've banned hidden 2 against Greece and Hong Kong, so similarly here. However, Singapore did ban free mod 3 against Hong Kong, so a bit of a shake-up this time.
Like I said, adjusting to opponents just a little bit. But opening up with some free mod to kick us off. Very popular map, this. Some good old Psyche, map by Dezag. Do really enjoy his tech stylings, and this one's not far off that. With the density on Hidden and the mechanics on Hard Rock, brings out a lot of the strengths in your mod players. Picked by Singapore, definitely know them for picking a lot of free mod and making good use of it, because they have very strong specific mod players. Astronaut back in there, I imagine he'll be taking the Hidden. Could be Tebi as well, though. No GS Blanc on this one for a cheeky Hidden Hard Rock, but Golden Wing and Eagle have been pretty good mainstays for this one so far.
It would look like a Eagle hidden hard rock and a Q not hidden. At least that was the mod selection when Singapore played against Hong Kong. And it will be the same.
However, on the other side, you can say that's basically actually the same. Chopon Pon Hard Rock and Haga on hidden. Chopon Pon actually full combo in the entirety of this map in particular and winning against Hong Kong, but this is going to be a bit of a problem when Singapore feels really confident despite that insane performance from him. 2.6 million is the line to cross from Singapore theoretically, and this map is not forgiving when you miss in the middle.
Yeah, Japan are also very fresh off playing this against Hong Kong earlier. So they should be well equipped as Kushinaut will find the first miss of the lobby, and that will hand the lead to Japan for the time being.
30k difference as Eagle falls as well. There goes Singapore's hidden roster and hidden hard rock for Managa. Trades against Heavy, leaving on the downwing. Shopompon once again going into the office and ready to put in some work. Paperwork is being done by both Jose-san and Shopompon. Once again, the two guys that acted up plenty last match with both 1 million and 700k, and they are looking to replicate that performance.
Yeah, carrying the weight of Japan, Shoponpon, the highest accuracy of the entire lobby, even if Hard Rock does find an accuracy drop, a trade between Jose-san and Ego, where Ego will find a bit more drops here. Shoponpon will finally drop the FC, so Japan's lead will shrink quite a bit actually, as Hard Rock finds a very dirty drop. Jose-san and Kushinaut will trade. This lead is shrinking very fast. Singapore might be able to target back.
It is going to be done somehow, some way. Japan will not be able to take this back downwing with a miss at the last circle. Oh my, Japan kind of underperformed by about 500k, but Singapore will take everything that they can get.
You gotta trust your big players for the big moment, and on the first pick, Dawnwing coming up with the goods. Nice 800k on the Nomad. That was huge. That was huge. Through the second part, the drop as well. To take that combo through, and first blood will go to them. It is their pick. Japan, I imagine, won't be too worried because their next pick's coming up. But what a start here for Singapore.
Yeah, it looked quite bleak as well. Japan had about 130,000 point lead, and then everyone in Japan just dropped. Very solid start, but it is now going to be Japan's pick.
It is the pick of the litter here. If they want to go into some of that speedy stuff, they do still have the Nomad 2, which they did extremely well on just a couple hours ago. It'll be a good pick against Singapore here, although Singapore have some decent DT scores on the maps they've played. You'd reckon that pure speed pick would be pretty good for the speedy Japanese roster, especially because they're already warm on it. You may want to save that for a little bit later, because those sort of speedy Nomad picks are definitely good for comfort when you need something to just steady the ship. We'll see if they save it or use it.
Yeah, and also something that might be a bit challenging for Japan here is that they really can only go off the scores that Singapore set against Hong Kong. And Singapore didn't really play many other maps, which include Hard Rock 1. Singapore did not play this, but Japan did not either. So this is going to be pretty new for the two teams here.
Going a different direction, and I'm all up for it. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching the map pool showcase and I saw Alien Friend Request popped off, I'm marked out, dude. I'm marked out. This is an absolute banger. It's a song that was actually made for the Kyoku Song Contest not too long back. A lot of good original music made for that, and this was my absolute favourite of the bunch. That's by a group mapped and produced by a bunch of Norwegian community members. Just waiting for that video to come out. When you getting on that Melon Boy? I'm waiting. But yeah, this is Hard Rock 1 and very aim heavy, very mechanics heavy, but it's not super duper comfy. Plenty of tricky kick sliders and ISVs to deal with as well. So you do have some of that element that can trip up your players that aren't so comfortable on the Hard Rock. And it's quite long as well, so you need that consistency too. Singapore have some good players on Hard Rock to make use of it, and GS Blank straight into the lobby for this one. I'm not too surprised to see him in for this.
Yeah, we should maybe... Oh, I was about to say Hollow Knees, but Mikhail also slots in just nice for Singapore. And for Japan, surely we do see Shoponpon's appearance. But for the fourth player, it could either be Rafunia or Hosei-san. Maybe Rafunia would work better. We do see Rafunia, but Furamun actually coming in.
Looks like it. Looks like the lobby's set there. Inside of Singapore, yeah. Mikhail Tebi coming in for this one. Dawnwing staying in the lobby. Generally a perma lobby for the vast majority of maps in Singapore.
Yeah, what I do like about these two teams is they really utilize the extent of their players. A lot of their players, all 8 of them from both sides, get some screen time, really.
Yeah, they do. Like, there isn't really a player that's in for absolutely everything, although Dawnwing has kind of been that. They do mix and match their players a lot. I guess that means you kind of can miss out on a bit of an anchor in high-pressure situations, but it seems to work well for Japan so far in this tournament with their 2 wins and 2.
Indeed, and once again, it is their time to show what they got. Bit of patience is needed though for this map in particular, but I do not like it. I don't know what's wrong with this map. This map is banging. I don't know what's... Yeah, but now 4 full combos from both sides as we start off this map.
Yeah, but you can imagine this map will only ramp up from here. As Furamun will actually find the first drop for Japan.
Yeah, definitely not the best of start for Japan here. 3v4, Singapore taking the lead currently. Mikhail, however, an instant trade there, 3v3. Things are starting to get really interesting as YMD also finding his own miss. It's a 2v3 now.
Okay, no, I think those were Bancho drops, I was about to say.
Oh yeah.
But that is a real
That's
drop
not
from
though.
Tebi. So that trades Furamun.
Indeed, 20k difference. Accuracy still very much equal from both sides. Singapore a slight lead, but still a 3v3, especially when Tebi hold on for so long. Furamun on the other hand, catching up, and GS Blank will find the miss down to a 3v2 as Japan trying to claw any kind of advantage.
There's some accuracy drops from Tebi as well, so Japan will be able to strengthen this lead even more. So far so good for the remaining 3 FCs as GS Blank finds another drop.
Wing as well, only leaving Mikhail and the recovery from Tebi to fight off against Japan. YMD with the miss. Going to the slow part now, still a huge advantage towards Japan as Mikhail, the last man standing, the mainstay of the Hard Rock player in any kind of free mode, bringing skill onto this Hard Rock 1. But he's alone, there's no one to support him, and with 300k deficit, this is not looking good, Ravel.
Yeah, Rafunia and Homotan leading the charge for Japan as Dawnwing and GS Blank fall, as is Furamun. So this lead is just going to continue to grow ever so strongly. Rafunia will finally fall, but the damage might already be done.
Indeed, Homotan. Just keeping Mikhail in check. 4 of them definitely playing their hearts out, but only one will be off, rewarded with a singular point. And Japan is looking to bank that in. One last HEA section. Homotan and Mikhail put on the show, will you? Going to the last HEA section now.
Yeah, these very abrasive sliders. Not phasing either Mikhail or Homotan. As I say that Homotan will finally fall, those are only Mikhail left standing. But that shouldn't matter in the grand scheme of Japan's things here on this map. They will secure that point.
1-1. Well then, this is definitely a match to be had. Very good for Specs.
Yeah, big performance there from two of the players on Japan to pull that one through. Makayo doing absolutely everything he could, though. That's a brilliant full combo on that. And the accuracy is looking pretty good across the board. Just a few miss-aims, a bit of consistency on that Hard Rock, catching them out. A bit of a surprise on paper. Singapore with the better scores generally in the qualifiers as well on almost all of the Hard Rock picks across both plays. But Japan winning it this time. Pick working out very well. A brave one working out pretty well, actually.
Yeah, there was definitely some risk from Japan going for a map that neither team has really shown on the group stage, but very strong showing from Japan. But now the cards are back to Singapore. What do you think they could? Okay, I was about to say what do you think they could possibly go for, but double time three is immediately coming out here.
Oh yeah, they know what's up. Double time 3, so that's going to be some control they're going into. Going into the DT pool where they did ban the speed, but they're going to something that's not so speedy. Alt control, finger control, aim control. Lots of stops and starts in this. I mean, I think it's one that both these teams could do pretty well on. It's another pick that could be a bit of a toss-up. So I guess early on going for a couple of 50-50s before going into some of the picks later on that could be a bit more up their alley. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, Japan has usually relatively struggled on double time 3. At least in comparison to Singapore. Singapore have played this already against Hong Kong.
They did have a nice couple of scores on that, actually. Dorming had a nice FC on that one. Hollow Knees, Makayo with 800Ks to their board. They didn't win it against Hong Kong, but it was a very good score, well above 3 million. So the players are feeling good on it, then why not? It's a different day, though, and sometimes on different days you can't quite play it the same way. They must feel it here. Makayo back in for round 2 on this one. So waiting for those 2 more slots, but I wouldn't be surprised if Adornment moves over. There he is. And if Hollow Knees is here, will he be playing this one as well?
Yeah, we do see Cymango in for this, and Ego. Very interesting choices because instead of Cymango and Ego, it was Hollow Knees and Tabby that played against Hong Kong on this, yeah.
I haven't seen Hollow Knees yet. I wonder if he's around. It's only early days yet.
That is true, yeah.
Eagle's always a very solid pair of hands, though, when it comes to generally any way you need to fill him, especially on no model at the control side. As for Japan, their 4 was in a long time ago. No outer lean for this one.
Yeah, I was about to say no outer lean.
Which is a surprise, considering he was a mainstay in the qualifiers on the no mod picks, but not today. Different kind of alt map, though, that compared to the qualifiers no mod 3, though. This one's a bit more nice. It's less about the constant strain of flow. It's just like stop, start, little patterns that you really have to do a lot of control to hit. It's a different feel.
Especially with not much time, we're all of it cramped into this one neat package of 2 minutes and 7 seconds DT3. This map is a bit of an all or nothing kind of map where you either get stuck at 500k because of the spike or you hit it and get minimum 800k unless you slip up. Froman will be the first one to miss nonetheless.
Yeah, once again another shaky start from Japan. They will be the first one to drop, the second one to drop from YMD. So Singapore will have that lead extended a little bit further, maybe depending on accuracy drops from Cymango and Makayo.
This is still the quad full combo looking good for Singapore, but half of the map is now down, the lead starting to accumulate, and thus the waves are coming. Which one of these players will drown in it? The spikes is going to be very difficult downwind, finding the first mains down to a 2v3, but Japan has such a good recovery on their way. Eagle is now down, it's down to a 4v2. Singapore is now surrounded, Ravi.
Yeah, and another miss from Eagle despite having the highest accuracy from Singapore's side. They just can't hold on to combo unlike Rafunia, Homutan, and Saimango, as is Makeo, but he will fall as well. Fuahun would trade. Eagle will also drop beforehand.
Rafuna
And Fuahun as well as only
Saimango.
Rafuna.
Yeah, and funnily enough, Saimango is the only person to be a newcomer in the side of the Singaporean roster, and he is putting in the work. But if that will pay off, I don't think so. 300k is just a bit too much, Rebel.
Time is running out. And time has definitely ran out now. The first break point of this match will go to Japan. A very sick score from Rafunia. And I was about to say, possibly the FC, but they will drop right at the end. So no FCs in the lobby, but that is still well above the million score range. As is Saimango.
Rafuna's had a good match so far.
Yeah.
He's had a really good match so far for Japan. Absolutely. But Saimango actually coming in, swapping out from the last time Singapore played this and just stepping in and full comboing. Fair play to him. That's a brilliant score on the side of Singapore, but team difference makes the difference. Breakpoint dropped from them. Japan with the next pick too.
Yeah, definitely something I will say as a Mania caster is that when you have 4v4s, the weightage of each player holds a lot more significance if you do mess up in comparison to a 3v3. Especially for a game like also Standard.
I suppose I say the combo scaling is brutal on Standard compared to Mania. I suppose, especially with the more players involved. I suppose in the 3v3, each player, there's less players to rely on if you're struggling, right? But
Yeah.
In Standard, it's just one single slip, especially if it's near the middle. It's brutal for your score overall. The timing can really hurt as well. I wonder what Japan's got in store for us. They went Hard Rock 1 last time. Surely they don't go double Hard Rock. I'll be very surprised.
It is possible. Okay, but they will opt for No Mod 2.
There it is. On home turf.
Hey.
The Japanese mapping collab picked by Japan again. And they've made it their home. They did so well on it earlier on today. They're going to make it happen again now to try and build a nice 2-point lead. Which is big in a best of 9.
They had a shakier score on this against Greece, but then they completely demolished this against Hong Kong. 3.2 million team score. Singapore did play this as well, but only a 2.65 million.
To be fair, if you compare the first group match score from Japan, they got to 2.62, so technically Singapore do beat them there, but yeah, on the second round, Japan massively improved. So they're on the upward trend. The maps they've played for 2 matches in 2, they have improved consistently on them. I'm hoping that carries on here, because if it does, it's going to be a tough one for Singapore to steal. My speedy pick that is very much, if you can speed, you can play this. It's very comfortable for the speed players, but if you're not so speedy, the aim bits in this can really trip you up, especially in the second half where the spacing is getting a bit more spicy, and at the very end where those very spaced triples can completely nuke you if you're not careful.
This is quite a funny sight to see. Everyone in Singapore in, and then Japan is just out to lead.
Right, there we go. Against the world.
The flood is here.
The squad. Avengers assemble. Paga, Jose San, Furamun.
And
Paga.
Autolean.
Yeah, alongside Autolean. The double TapX squad as well. Autolean and Haga, I believe, are both TapX. Always handy for speed picks for that, and they've made great use of it.
I always find TapX really impressive, honestly. The amount of control that you need.
Yeah, it's crazy. I suppose you put the time in, you can reap the rewards, but without it, you're just double tapping everything. I can't tap X for the life of me.
Alright, map number 4. Japan to take this to double their lead.
This is going to be very much important for them, I feel, if they keep this going, things are going to be out of Singapore's hand and out of Singapore's reach, that's for sure. GS Blank and Furman with the early miss, but we've seen how little that matters as we go into later and later in this No More 2. Plenty, and I mean plenty of combo to rebuild your momentum. Rabido with the miss, Rabil.
That is a very messy miss from Tabby as opposed to Furamun's miss. So it will give that lead to Japan. Very strong accuracy, still holding double S from Hosei-san. Closely followed by Haga.
It's going to be very tough to come back from, especially with the lead at 130k. That is huge. In the first 1/3 of the map, going to the techier section, we've seen players missing on this aim, and we will keep seeing it happening. Haga and Kyustro down for the count. 2v2 on the combo scale with Furanam on that massive recovery.
Yeah, but Hosei-san is just completely destroying this map. 99.9 into the spinner, into the break. That's a 300,000 point lead to Japan.
Heavy with the
Singapore have an uphill battle.
Indeed, and currently, what's a better way to start the hike than to actually go for a 300k difference is absolutely massive though, and this map is not something you can really randomly miss on. It's so consistent if you're good at it, and Japan definitely good at what they do. Triple combo still on the board. Last quarter is coming up. It's about to begin. Let the flood come in, Rabil.
Singapore are just doing all they can to keep themselves at bay, but the lead is just growing. Tabby will contribute to that, as is GS Blank. It does seem like the light at the end of the tunnel is being snuffed out for Singapore to try and snatch a point here. Japan once again, just like against Hong Kong, completely crushing this No Mod.
God.
That is a score from Hosei-san. How many hundreds is that?
Not enough, only 7. That is crazy. An improvement of 800k, and Japan has consolidated their breakpoint. This is something else.
Yeah, this is Japan's map. What can I say?
Hosei-san actually improving his last FC. He FC'd it last match with 10 100s, but this one chopping it down to 7. So another big improvement.
7 from Haga as well.
Oh god, yeah. There's a slider break actually, the 150, that's slider break is the only miss he had. God, we could be looking at a near 4 million score on that from Japan if it wasn't for that slider break. The classic, but yeah, Japan are just so good at that.
Yeah, I will say, it definitely sways me that just one single slider break in the middle has like a 350,000 point swing. That is crazy. Not like it matters for Japan. They take the point comfortably. Yeah, back to Singapore.
Oh yeah, they'll gladly take that. But now Singapore needs to try and make something happen with their pick. There is a chance this could be their last pick in this matchup. So they need to make good use of it. Where do they go? They still have Fumod open. Fumod 2 would be brave because Japan do like that one. They're going Hidden 1. And this makes a lot of sense to me.
Yes, definitely. This is, at least in terms of shared maps played on group stage, this is the only map that Singapore actually has a better team score on.
I'm cool if Japan actually have played this one actually.
Yeah, they did play this, I believe against Greece. It was a 2.8 mil.
Ah, right. To be fair, the scores are pretty close. I think Singapore got like 2.9. So it's close.
You are correct.
But hey, if they're banning Hidden 2, which is low approach rate, the gimmick, sure. Why not pick the other Hidden? It's higher approach rate, AR 9.6, but it is certainly more on that control side. Again, they picked Double Time 3, which is control 2. This one's a bit more of that ult style, lower BPM, more about that flow aim control, a lot more winding stream patterns in this, but also plenty of swing patterns as well. Not the 1-6 swing patterns, I think it's all like 1-4 or some 1-8. It feels like swing.
Yeah, I think it is title swing. just to kind of sidetrack a little bit, at least from what I know from playing this song in my mind, the swing rhythm in there is definitely quite tight. So I believe it is closer to 1/8 than 1/6. Banger song, by the way.
Oh, it's such a tune. Absolute tune, this. Absolute tune. I did actually got it on. Yeah, this is a lovely BMS tune. But it's a.
It is indeed.
Yeah, I believe it's like it's VTuber style, but it's like a VTuber designed for the BMS chart, the whole project.
Yep, I believe it debuted in BOF NT, so that was 2 years ago.
How the squad's looking compared to last time then. Japan looks like they're going in the same squad that played this last time against Greece. As for Singapore, it's
Once again,
a similar one for them too.
no Holonies.
But no Holonies, yeah. I wonder if he's around, because you'd think he'd be playing this, but instead it's going to be Astronaut. Put it in for him.
First section of the burst. Probably gonna catch someone off guard. Let's see it coming only for Raman. With the first miss 3v4 right off the bat, but accuracy is in a bit of a dumpster as Downwing trying to recover from the 85% accuracy. The burst in the beginning definitely something else, RV.
I will say Qshon actually like combo broke at the start as well. They're behind by about 20 notes, so already a little bit of a disadvantage in that regard. But you can see this lead is slowly shrinking as Dawnwing is finding back some accuracy.
28k difference right now. The swing section, not too much aim, but the sliders are still very tricky as Haga find his own mistake. Beautiful recovery, basically gaining a full combo from both Furaman and Kilsonomat, but only one has more combo than the other, and Singapore pushing ahead into the slow part. This part is a silent killer. We've seen players missing it time and time again, and oh my
gosh.
YMD with the miss, 2v4, and now Singapore has the opportunity to keep this lead, Ravel.
A very important lead as well. If Singapore give this up, there is the potential that this match could end without another Singapore pick. And you can see this lead is skyrocketing, almost 200,000 points now.
Yeah, this is just not going down Shopompon, and now leaving only the man that missed in the beginning, Furaman with the recovery, and no longer as he falls to his sickness. Houstonat trades, but that's not the full combo. Ravel, Singapore still has 3, and my goodness, they are going to drop down to 2, but damn right, Eagle and Heavy got this under control.
Very crucial pick here from Singapore. Eagle will fall as well, but a 600,000 point difference. Japan cannot reel this back. Is this the FC? FC from Tebby?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my days. Tebby making it look easy. A swing and a hit. What can I say?
Oh, you'll love to see it. Tebby stepping in. It's one of the more experienced members of the Singaporean roster. Great score.
I was about to mention Haga again. 2 100s, 150. I believe that was the silent break. Again. How punishing combo breaks can be in this game when you're having like a 700,000 point score. And 3 drop judgments.
That's absolutely mental, that accuracy actually. Oh my goodness. 99.7 is right at the top of the leaderboard. This guy's leaderboard farming even in OWC. You can't take him away from it. Shame about the slider break though again, man. They aren't treating him well.
I mean, even without the slider break, Japan wouldn't have gotten this, but it would have definitely been a lot closer.
Yeah, it would have been. Like, that was a brilliant team score from Singapore and a brilliant pick. Definitely shook Japan there. Didn't look too comfy, man. The consistency down. They'll be thankful there's no more hidden only left. 2 more free mods open, and one of those are pretty good for them. Free mod 3 could be looking quite interesting for a future Singaporean pick, though. Free mod 3 being aim heavy, speedy aim on free mod. But Japan with the next pick still in a good spot. Singapore still need a break point and fast.
They are biting on Hard Rock 2.
Whoa!
Okay.
Hard Rock 2! Okay. I am shocked they picked this map. I mean, Hard Rock 1, sure, I could see it, the mechanics. This, I was absolutely dead certain Singapore was going to pick. But nope, Japan's picked it.
I will say, I think Singapore, after looking at the score Japan set against Hong Kong, they might feel a little bit scared.
True.
It's 3.5 million. Almost 3.6.
I guess it is just a case of they played it so well last time, just go for it again. They're picking the maps they're good at, regardless of who they're facing. Which is always a good idea.
Yeah, it's always about building your team confidence. True. Singapore and Hard Rock.
In this one quite a lot this last couple of weeks, and I'm really happy about that. Memo Demo bringing out a brilliant OS original here. Show off showdown.
Oh, that is true. This is a very popular pick. I realize so far in group stage.
I mean, I guess the Precision Hard Rock can be a little bit of a spooky pick, but I guess a lot of players liking that high AR, they do like to go into these picks even as a comfort pick. And the precision on this, with it being CS 6.5, isn't super out of the ranges really, especially with the, like Nomod having a ultra precision pick in it. This one is more about the patterning, the control patterning, those flowing patterns in it all the way through on small CS. We'll see if Japan can produce another masterclass like they did earlier today. But Singapore can threaten on this one. Of that, there is no doubt. They did get 2.6 mil last time, though.
They did get 2.6, and that was with a different roster as well. That was with Hollow Knees in the lobby, but this time it will be Eagle. And as for Japan, it will be the same exact roster as they did against Hong Kong.
Don't fix what ain't broke. Why swap anyone out? They played like that. Here we go.
If you can do it once, you can do it again.
Indeed, Japan gonna test that hypothesis there. They did once again really well. I think that's the #1 score overall in this tournament on that Hard Rock 2 out of left field. And Japan willing to show that it is not a fluke going into our groovy Hard Rock 2 burst alt with plenty of slider tricks across the board. Homoton with the first miss, but nothing to panic about just yet.
I do realize this is like a trend now for Japan. They are always going to be the first one to miss in the lobby, but that is a multi-miss from the side of Homoton and YMD. So immediate advantage to Singapore.
Not the most tricky part just yet, reveal. So that is very questionable. Nonetheless, recovery coming in quick for Japan. But as we are going to hype things up, the actual meat of the map is coming in with the early miss before the hard part, down to a 2v3 situation.
Yeah, Singapore might still be able to hold on to this lead for the time being, but accuracies are being damaged left and right as Homoton and Rafuna. That's a very messy drop from Rafuna actually, a couple misses. So this lead now completely resets back to Singapore's favor, but Tabby will drop, that will soften the blow.
Indeed. Nonetheless, the Singapore got 3 bullets in their magazine, ready to aim it directly onto the circles, but Eagles missed, and now the accuracy, the recovery coming in clutch. Japan pulling it back 40k, 30k, they're counting it down like it's New Year. Downwing NGS blank, holding it down, trying to do what they can. The last 2 pillars for Singapore, but it's slipping, it's going away. 50k difference reveal.
Yeah, still very strong showings on both Showponpon and YMD. But Singapore, they will still have some chances. It's only a 77,000 point gap.
Hill looking pretty good for both sides, but a case needs to be made in this courtroom. Only one can be proven not guilty, and just flag finding the miss is only Don Wing. And there's not much support. Japan rising up from the dead. We thought we were gonna see a generational laurel, but surprisingly they were just warming up, and now the lead increasing more and more. Homutan finds the miss, but nothing other than that reveal. Japan caught it.
Singapore wanted to show off, but Japan have given them a showdown. That is a 600,000 point advantage and match point to Japan.
Gotta say, man, that was looking a little bit sketch for Japan there. I was worried about them. I thought Singapore were about to do the Singapore thing, but Japan in that second half just locked in. Dawnwing with a brilliant full combo. The accuracy down a little bit, but still great stuff. Singapore kind of breaking a bit on the end as well, but was looking pretty spooky until that ending drop there. Nevertheless, Japan match point. Singapore on match point of their ticket out of here, possibly.
Not out of the group stage if they do lose this match, but it will get very spicy because then their match against Greece tomorrow will be all or nothing.
Yeah.
So backs against the walls. Singapore do have the pick.
I'm still thinking at that 3mod3, in my case Samba might be a good pick for them. It's AIM, it's free mod, those mod players in their happy place. Or we could go for left field and pick No Mod 3, Chocolate Disco, the low AR No Mod, considering Japan banned that. But that would be brave. I don't think you're playing into Singapore's historical strengths there. But maybe they need something left field to just try and get something to happen here. No, they're not going to do that.
Ooh.
Heliosphere is the next pick, No Mod 4.
Okay, this one is definitely a little bit out of left field. Japan have played this. They played this against Hong Kong earlier with a 2.5 million team score. Singapore have not played this.
The theme of a lot of Singapore's picks has been control. They've picked the DT3. They've picked some of the control maps around the pool. So this isn't too far from their strategy so far, it seems, here. The results have been hit or miss. But if they've done their homework, they might see that score that Japan put out and thought, yeah, that's beatable. Surely, if they're picking it now, it has to be, because it's their final pick of this matchup. Fairly straightforward tech stylings, this one, though. It's high SVs, it's tricky burst streams. Some sliders have ticks in them, you got to follow along. And it's in that BPM range that you see so often in tech maps. This is a pretty straightforward style that everyone in the lobby should be pretty familiar with. Nothing too unusual. But it's in a high pressure situation for both, really, but especially the team picking this.
So you would maybe say that this map is going to be aiming towards if Japan just combo break more than themselves?
Certainly could be. I mean, in terms of the accuracy game, Japan have looked better on the ACK, and on maps like this, you can combo game it, and you can kind of dodge some of the, I guess, the mechanical difficulty and just combo game some of the sliders, don't follow them all away and things, but you're sacrificing ACK to do so. It might not work well against Japan, who might be able to take enough accuracy to mitigate that combo if you cheese too hard. I don't think either of these teams going to do that, really. This map is not super crazy on the mechanics, but you do need to be consistent for it.
Yeah, it's going to be now or never as well for Singapore. Japan putting up the same lineup that they did against Hong Kong to see if they can finally put a rest to this match. And as for Singapore, they are still trying to fight at least for a second victory in the group stages.
Some people do say that history repeats, Japan trying to do just that. They won against Hong Kong 5-2. Will the same fate drops upon Singapore? Going into their own pick, No Mod 4. A chance to prove themselves worthy to still be in this bracket. 4 people to prove themselves worthy in this No Mod 4. And sliders will not be their friend. going into this first few sections. Nothing too tricky just yet, but we are seeing plenty, and I mean plenty of accuracy dropped on some individual reveal.
Yeah, in particular, I'm looking at Furamun, Tabby, and Dawnwing. Definitely the ones giving me a bit of the jitters, but Rafuna will actually be the first one to drop again. Japan, always the first one to drop in these maps.
Indeed, this is definitely something else, but whatever strategy they are doing, it is working. Do we see the vision here? Ravuna with the early miss, but can he recover? Jose-san as well though, on the front door. It's one thing for it to be a strategy, it's another to be an accident. 2v4, Singapore got them on lockdown. But remember, we've seen this happen. Singapore needs more than just 100k lead. They need something of a killer, something of a big shot. 120k, it's building up and up as we go into the second gate section. This is it where hell breaks loose at Singapore trying to tear it open against Japan.
Japan have played these games before. They've had to make these kinds of comebacks in the second half of maps. But Singapore have just been able to lasso this lead and continuously grow it. Everyone doing superbly in Singapore.
Indeed, in the end, it is looking ever so devastating. The four absolute warlords Furaman is down for the count. Recoveries coming from Jose and Ravuna alongside FC from Shoponpon will mean nothing. Singapore still with the 4-full combo going into the last ending patterns. Ladies and gentlemen, they're making hella bread, but they are no bakers. Still holding on, still going on strong, locked in, loaded, and Singapore will show it how it's done. Now this is my masterclass.
I'm sorry? C31? Can we get that checked? Are you sure? That was a complete mass ejection of Japan. They were destroyed. What is this?
Yeah, I'll need to have a peek at the stats on this map, but 3.5 mil seems pretty bloody high for this. Goodness me. Singapore showing no fear here. It's another FC for Tebby. It's another FC on the board for Dawnwing, but another one for Eagle and very nearly. Actually, there is one for Astronaut. That's a fucking crazy score. Brilliant stuff here from Singapore. Japan have the next pick though. And they do still have free mod 2, which I am kind of worried about again for Singapore. Japan still have a good pick in their back pocket. Do they pull the trigger?
I'm glad that things don't really change between OWC and like other World Cups, that the low seed teams can just do things like that. I was amazed at Mania and I'm amazed again in Standard. This is the final pick. Japan has to make this count if they want to secure a 3-0 clean sweep in group stages. If not, it is going to be Destined Victoria. Not many options left. 3 no mods, 1 double time, 2 free mods. And they will opt for that free mod 2.
Yeah, it has been looming menacingly, I think, this entire matchup. Japan have picked this every single matchup, and every single one they've posted 3 million. Last time they posted, I think, nearly 3.7 on this. And considering how that no mod 2, the progression on that's been, they only get better as they play these maps, man. Can Singapore break this? It'd be a huge break point. I mean, obviously, with it taking it to tiebreaker, but of all maps, this would be a big one to steal from Japan. Free mod, flow aim, streams, 195 BPM, flow aim all the way through. Normally, you see these maps in no mod as the no mod 2. But it's on free mod here, meaning you're gonna have to deal with hidden and/or hard rock from your squad.
Yeah, at least from what we've seen so far, it should be a Kyushu hidden KO hard rock. And then for the side of Japan, looking like a Furamun hidden and a Rafunia hard rock. but it also depends on who's actually going to be playing. Maybe YMD and Shoponpon, both are in the lobby. We do see Haga. And we also do see a brief movement, Dawnwing, but they're not in the client anymore.
I think Haga could be a pretty good shot on this with his tapping prowess. Although on the Spicy Floem on this, Japan do have players in the back pocket that could definitely fill on Floem very well. These new players for Japan are very nice on the tapping. It really is a case of who's feeling good on it right now. They have definitely not been afraid to swap out players that have played this map previously. I think it looks like they're going to be sticking with the usual squad though. That is the same four for Japan that played it last time and the time before. But,
I will say out of all of the players on this screen, Tebby is the only one, at least in this lobby, that has seen Singapore beat Japan in OWC back in 2022, and that went to tiebreaker. Can Tebby and Singapore do it again? It would be absolute cinema.
Time. Absolutely, and this Fremoto will be the apex of it if it does happen. This is it. Last pickable map in this match. Japan unleashing their Fremoto. Very consistent. They have been going at it again and again and again. This map is their bread and butter, but Singapore looking to end this streak from Japan. Can they force tiebreaker as we go into the first stream section, Ravil?
Yeah, I do realize that Japan are actually playing it a little bit safe. Ramun doesn't have the hidden mod. Kyushonaut will be the first one to drop though on the side of Singapore. So lead and advantage to Japan.
Indeed, probably need a bit of a reset because Froman is indeed using hidden currently, but Kyushonaut with the first chain miss and the second one just now, and now it's a 4v3 as Singapore slowly but surely losing their grip on this situation. 150k difference,
Okay.
and now back into the action as we go into the slow section reveal.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused because I was only seeing one mod on Japan, but yeah, it is Furamun on hidden, so.
Oh, what happened? What happened? It's only shot on one.
Wait.
Hold the front door.
I have no idea if Bencho is doing something funny
Never
right
mind,
now,
there we
because
go.
it does seem like it is.
Okay, this is it.
Yeah.
The last full combo coming from Singapore. It's only Makayo to hold it up against Shoponpon and YMD. This is not looking good for the Singaporean nation. 100k difference, still trying to pull it back, but it's increasing more and more and more as that just slowly catches up. One last section, Rafuna with a massive chain miss, 200k difference. This is going to be very tough. 140k actually. Pancho, what's up? What's going on, brother?
Bancho can't decide what the lead is, but it is a Japanese lead still. We head into the final section here. Still incredible performances from YMD and Shoponpon to try and shut the door on Singapore for any sort of tiebreaker force here.
Yup, this is it, the last stream, the last few sections, 100k difference, ladies and gentlemen, dreams do come
my gosh,
true,
wait.
and for Japan, it is going to be a Singaporean nightmare, 60k difference. What?
Wait,
What?
wait,
40K? Wait, what?
Oh my god, Bancho!
What?
No.
The MP, we
Hold
go!
up. Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Stop the count. GG.
That's a
Oh,
that's a win from Japan. That's a win from Japan. Yeah.
That is a win for Japan.
Man.
I really apologize to any of the Singaporean supporters in chat, but that was a Japan win. And it was by 93,000. It was very close to an incredible MVP performance from Makayo, but it will be for naught. The door was shut. Japan will finish the group stages with a clean 3-0. That was a very close match regardless.
That's a brilliant matchup. Brilliant matchup. And some brilliant performances from many of the players on both teams. You had their carry moments. Dawnwing with some brilliant scores. Tebi with some brilliant scores. Makayo as well, especially on that last map. On the side of Japan. How does it sound with some brilliant scores on those tapping picks? Chopinpon on that final pick there, 3-mod-2. But, as you mentioned, Japan, 3 wins in 3. They survived the group stages. They are through in top 2. That is for certain. Singapore still have work to do. They're 1-1. They have one more game later on. It's against Greece, who still are in a chance of progressing themselves. So Singapore versus Greece is set to be an absolute barnstormer later on in this group to decide who goes through in that second spot. But nevertheless, congrats to Japan. Their new squad. So many people are wondering where those old school names were that have brought them such good success, but the new blood of Japan showing that they deserve to be here every bit as much. And that performance speaks for itself.
Yep, and it is also revenge for Japan following their tiebreaker loss back in 2022. Autolin, the only player from that roster back then, now finally being able to witness their own team beat Singapore at OWC. But that will do it for us and for this match. We do have another match coming up very shortly in 4 minutes. That would be, at least on the mainstream, Brazil versus Philippines.
Yeah, Brazil versus Philippines is honestly, I think, one of the matchups of the weekend. 2 titans, 2 heavyweights in the group stage. The